Hey guys, and welcome back to a very special episode of the Watford Career Mode. If you haven't watched the end of the season, please do have a watch of the last episode. I thought we finished the season better than I probably could have expected when I kicked off the season. Obviously, we had some great performances throughout the season, mainly from Iñaki Williams, who I think I've nominated as our player of the season. But you know what it is? It's our first summer transfer window, or our second one actually, after kind of our first full season. So I want to make this kind of a bit of a transfer special. That's actually a lot more difficult to say than I thought. And let you guys know the kind of players I was thinking about buying, the players I actually did go on and buy, and then also some of the players that we received offers for, accepted, declined, and then kind of just show you a state of the squad before we go into next season, which I think for us, for Watford, is definitely going to be targeting that Europa League, or if everything goes well, maybe that fourth spot, and try and get into the Champions League the season after. But we're going to start off by looking at the shortlist. So these are the kind of players that maybe I didn't put a bid in for, but I was considering. Now, you'll see something common between these. There's kind of these players that are around like the high 70s, low 80s, just because I think like that's a good kind of base where you've got a good player. So I'm not buying like super young players who are just not going to be very good, but players that have potential to grow, and so they're not super expensive. So you can see here, we'll sort by position, so we can see kind of the types of players we were thinking of bringing in. So in the goalkeeper position, obviously Ben Foster for us had a huge season for us. Like I wasn't sure whether to keep him or not, but he performed way better than I could have ever expected. And so we're going to hold on to Ben Foster for this next season. We're going to hold on to him, but the goalkeeper I have highlighted, and we may go for him in January possibly, or we may wait until next summer, but it's Alex Merritt here from Napoli, age 23, 80 rated goalkeeper, really, really good goalkeeper. He's obviously played for Napoli in the first team in real life as well, so he was up there, and he may be one for the future for us to watch. Then in the right wing back position, we have George Baldock, probably someone that's like, why the hell is he on your transfer list or your shortlist? And the reason being, he's done really, really well in real life for Sheffield, and he's a right wing back. He's a really attacking right wing back, even though his attacking work rate is just medium, and he's got some Premier League experience, all that type of stuff, so that was good. That's why he's there. Demiral, again, an interesting kind of young centre back. Trying to find young centre backs is very, very difficult, and obviously we have Rob Holding, who we bought in last season, who did really, really well, so I was trying to partner him with another centre back. I'm not totally sold on Cabaselli, which was why Demiral was here, but we decided not to go for him. We decided to go for someone else, who I'll show you later. And then left back. Left back was a position that I talked about through the season that I wanted to improve on in the summer. Obviously, Adam Messina was playing most of our games for us, and although he played really solidly, he just wasn't kind of the nailed-on starter that I wanted at left back. So we put Luca Pellegrini here from Cagliari, which is an interesting buy. Obviously, the 72 rates are not the best, but he was up there. Then we got a couple of midfielders, and there are some ambitious ones in here, if I understand. The first one here is Djibril Sow. I came across him, his stats look good. He had high defensive work rate, so I thought he'd be really good in that kind of CDM position. But that's why he was on there. And then Fabian Ruiz, as you can see, he's actually transferred through to Paris Saint-Germain, and we'll have a look at some of the biggest transfers going on in this career mode, and he was one of them. So he was someone that I was thinking about, but way out of our league right now. And then Ben Asser again from Inter Milan, another young kind of central midfielder who again I thought could play either one of those three positions in midfield that we'd like to play. And the same there with Kessie and Emre Can. So I was kind of really looking for a versatile midfielder, so kind of someone that could play all three of the midfield roles, so either be the one sitting or play either side. So obviously got Doucouré, who can do that already, Guendouzi, who can do that, but I was looking to strengthen it up with a bit more solid players. And Emre Can was someone I actually really looked at. Obviously in real life he's gone and been very unhappy at Juventus, or Piemonte Calcio as they are known in FIFA, but we decided not to go for him. We decided to go for some younger, fresh talent. Obviously Emre Can isn't even that old, he's only 26, but we decided to go for something different. Then I went to look at some wingers, and when I was looking at wingers, I wanted to look at wingers that could possibly play on both wings. And one player we definitely looked at, who was actually at Valencia, who, similar to Fabian, transferred for quite a large sum in this summer transfer window, was Goncalo Guedes, the Portuguese winger who played for Valencia previously, who's now gone over to Bayern Munich. Again, 84 rated, so it was going to be tough for us to get him, even if we could. But obviously now that he's gone to Bayern Munich, Definitely no chance for us. And then we were looking at this. You'll see a host of cams that I was looking for. And the reason I was looking for a cam was, so the Jonathan Ikone transfer went really, really well for us last season. Like, we played kind of 4-2-3-1 towards the beginning of the season, but then when we changed into the what was it, almost like 4-3-3 almost, Ikone played really, really well in kind of like the wide right or even wide left positions, as well as being able to play in the midfield. And I thought a cam, someone like a Halihovic or a Foden could do something similar and play in multiple number of positions. And there was like a trend you'll see throughout all of this, that I was looking for players who could play multiple positions. I don't want to stack the team with loads of players that can only play one position. So you look at the likes of like Minamino, for example, who was here, who can play cam, striker, right mid, possibly even left mid. And you've got Lucas Paqueta again, who can play anywhere in that midfield, and Phil Foden again. So I was really looking for versatile kind of young players. But yeah, these players are all here, but we decided not to go for any of these. And then in terms of strikers or wide players, we looked at Hirving Lozano, someone who I'm a really, really big fan of. Every time I've watched him play for Mexico, he's just been like amazing. His work rate is super high, as you can see from his attacking work rate. But again, a little bit too expensive and a bit tough to prize him away from Napoli. And then we had a couple of other strikers, Leon Bailey, who again is another fantastic player who I think we were punching above our weight thinking we could get Leon Bailey. And then Christoph Piatek, who actually is, I think, trying to get a move away from Milan in the January transfer window, but I don't think that's happened. And then we had Eddie Nketiah, obviously an England young player. In real life, I think he's on loan at Leeds, or whether he's come back. I think there was some hoo-ha about him, but I think I had Rhian Brewster, so I decided not to go for him. So now we're going to move on to the players we actually did buy, and we only made five purchases. I'd say it's probably quite a lot. However, these are five. Well, at least 3 or 4 of these are probably going to be, dead set first starters for us. And the first one of those players who is not going to be a dead first starter is Josep Brekalo. So we signed him from Wolfsburg, and again, he is one of those players that can play on the left but can also play on the right. And I think probably you could stretch to having him play up front if we really needed to. 22 years old, 77 overall, so really kind of fits my criteria. We did pay a little bit over the odds. We offered him 45,000 wage, which is quite high for someone who's going to be a sporadic player, but young player with lots of potential, so had to make it in the team. The next one is Suso, and again, someone who can play on the right and up front. We played Ismail Assar, and particularly in the second half of the season, he really kind of kicked on, and the relationship he was getting and the assists he was getting with Iñaki Williams were really, really positive. However, I kind of wanted to give ourselves another option, and I don't think Ismail Assar, if we go to the next level, can do that, which is why we brought in Suso from AC Milan. Obviously, I'm a Liverpool fan, so I remember the old days when Suso used to play at Liverpool, and he was kind of a good talent, but he never really kicked on, and so we sold him, and he's done really, really well since. So fair play to him. But he's now welcomed as part of the Watford team. And the next two you will see have both been signed from Real Madrid. So we very, very much had to splash out on these two guys. So it's Sergio Reguilon, who I think I said his name right, and then Federico Valverde. So we're going to touch on Reguilon first. So as I talked about, we had Adam Messina at left back for pretty much all of last season, and Holebas was getting on a bit. And so I really wanted to buy a left back who was going to be my nailed on dead set left back. And someone who's 23 years old, 80 rated. We had to pay a little bit for him, I'm not going to lie. Obviously, he's £100,000 wage as well. So that is always, going to put a little bit of a dent. But we paid 20 million for him. So I think 20 million for a quality left back from Real Madrid, who's going to be our dead set starter, is not that bad. And then this I thought was the biggest steal for us. We did have to pay a little bit over the odds here. We did pay 15 million. I think we offered Cathcart as well. I think as part of this deal, I think we offloaded him. But this is Federico Valverde. So if you haven't been watching what Real Madrid have been doing this season in real life, he's kind of been the main star of Real Madrid's season. Obviously, Real Madrid are in all sorts of problems and with players like Bale and stuff like that. But one of their shining lights this season is Federico Valverde. You probably most notably know him for that Spanish Cup game where he cynically took down Alvaro Morata and essentially helped Real Madrid win that game. But we did sign him. Again, he is another player who can play all across that midfield, which is exactly what we want. 22 years old, 79 rated, high potential. So we did have to pay a bit more over the odds in terms of wages, but obviously he was coming from Real Madrid, and that will be a big signing for us. And I'm really I've got high hopes for Federico Valverde in his first season with us at Watford. And the final one is Issa Diop. So I was kind of adamant that I was going to sign a centre back. I haven't been, I say, totally won over by Cabaselli, and again, similar to some of the other players we have like Ismail Assar, like I think when we move on to the next level, I'm not sure whether they will still kind of cut it, and so we did look at a couple of centre backs, and one player who wasn't on the shortlist who I kind of was just a bit late to react to was Soyuncu from Leicester City. He was a player that I was kind of thinking about, but in the end we actually ended up going for Issa Diop. Now Issa Diop is probably one of West Ham's like best players, and we were able to prize him away for 16 million, which I thought wasn't too bad at all, considering that his value is 18 million. I think we did offer a player as part of this deal as well, but it's not showing me here. But yeah, I think £70,000. I think he's probably going to be our first choice starter with Rob Holding, and I think Cabaselli might drop to kind of one of the backup centre backs. But obviously, Cabaselli is again a great centre back who can come into the team if there is an injury or in the cup games and stuff like that. So those are the 5 key purchases we've made. Obviously, we received some offers for certain players, so I just want to take you through a couple of the big ones. So Leicester came in for Cabaselli. So funnily enough, we were just talking about him and maybe signing Soyuncu, but Leicester actually ended up selling Soyuncu, which is probably why they came in for Cabaselli. Deli Bashiru, we accepted a loan. No idea what team we accepted a loan from, but he was a player that played a couple of games for us, but particularly because of some of the signings we made with the likes of Valverde, I just really didn't think he was going to get much time, so we sent him out on loan for a year. Hopefully he can get some time and experience. Wolves came in with, I thought was a absolutely derogatory offer there for Ben Foster. £2 million for, yes, he's 77 rated, he's 37 years old, but did you see the season he had? He was absolutely fantastic. We have transfer listed a few players as well that we haven't seen any from. So Tom Cleverley, I don't think he will be getting much time in our team. Obviously with Doucouré, Guendouzi, Ikone, now Valverde, I'm not sure that Tom Cleverley is going to get the time he wants. And obviously we lost Will Hughes as well, and I think we kind of just... Tom Cleverley scored some actually really, really good goals for us, but I think maybe his time is up with Watford. And so we're going to I'm just going to quickly show you some of the biggest transfers that have happened in this career mode save. So I'll have a look at what's going on. So the biggest two are 2 players I actually had shortlisted. So that is Fabian Ruiz moving from Napoli to Paris Saint-Germain for £82 million, so way out of my league. And then Gonzalo Guedes going to Bayern Munich for nearly £57 million. So big money deals there. Ruben Neves was an interesting one going to Napoli. Obviously Napoli acting quickly to replace Fabian Ruiz. All very young players, 23, 24 years old. Icardi going to Barcelona, that's interesting. Must have had a good season at Inter. Thomas Partey going to Inter. So a lot of teams buying players once they've sold. Akanji, again, Tottenham looking for a centre-back. They could probably do with him in real life, really. Bernat, who's quite old, actually, which is surprising, going for 35 million. Suarez joining Ronaldo at Juventus or Piemonte Calcio, which would be very interesting. Wonder what happens with them this season with Ronaldo and Suarez. That would be a formidable strike force. Ricardo Pereira, Barella. Sergio Ramos, again, was an interesting one who, if I knew he was willing to leave Real Madrid, I probably would have even put a bid in for him to try and get an experienced centre-back. Probably wouldn't have been so attractive to come to Watford. But he's gone over to Leverkusen, so that should be interesting. Suso obviously coming through to us. Shaniz Under, again, another player who I'd possibly considered, but I think for him it's very much on the right. It's a bit like Mo Salah, he can only really play on the right. And so I didn't really see that versatility in him. Obviously Issa Diop, that's who we offered. We offered Nathaniel Chalobah, who again I didn't think was going to get the time this season. Jesus Corona as well going to Valencia, and then Marco Grujic was an interesting one, finally leaving Liverpool on a full time. Obviously in real life he's been on a load of loans. Brecalo and Reguilon coming. Yusuf Atal, another interesting kind of career mode hype beast from this year, really, moving his way to Leipzig. So that should be interesting to see how he progresses. But yeah, there's obviously some other transfers down here. But I think we've got a pretty solid squad now. We've got a squad that I think can challenge on multiple fronts. Like, we didn't do very well in the Cups last season. And definitely for me, that's a goal. Like, I think obviously the league is going to be a priority, but getting far and doing well in the cups is going to be big for us as well. So here's just we'll just quickly scan through the squad, show you the players who are in. Obviously, Issa Diop, Rob Holding and Kabasele going to be my kind of centre-backs now. Max Aarons, who I think I've made the decision is going to be kind of the number one choice at right back this season. Then Ducore, Valverde, Guendouzi, Cleverley, who maybe we may keep. I think actually just looking at the centre midfield options. And another player who came back from loan, who I definitely will be keeping, because I played the pre-season games offline, and one player who really impressed me was Dominguez Quinoa. So he'll be a really good player I'm looking to keep, particularly for rotation or if we get any injuries. Then obviously we move to the wingers. We're keeping Deulofeu. I did consider selling Deulofeu, but maybe not right now. I'm interested to see how the likes of Brekalo, Suso kind of push on this season. And Penaranda, again, another player who come in off loan last season and who did really, really well in the pre-season. So another player I want to see and get used to. And then Jerome Sinclair, again, another young talent who maybe get loaned out. But obviously the one player we're missing here who Watford actually have in real life is a player called João Pedro. Someone who wasn't part of the Watford team because of, I think, visa issues or something, but now is part of the Watford team. But obviously, because I started this career mode, way back when the game came out, unfortunately, we can't get him as part of the team. But yeah, obviously, if I may start another save in the future, maybe I'll do it again with Watford. But that's it for this transfer special, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed the episode and some of the players I like to sign. If there are any players that you think I maybe should sign or will be better for my team, let me know in the comments, and I'll try my best to maybe sign them in January or maybe in the next summer. Or we've still got a few days left in this transfer window, so maybe we can sell a few players and maybe pick up a certain player or something. But thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoy this episode and are looking forward to season 2. Smash a like if you are looking forward to season 2. I know I am. I think we've got a lot of promise and I'm gassed to see what we can do. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you on the next episode.